What's going on, guys? It is Jezzy. Yes, I know that thumbnail could use some work. Don't judge me. I trade. I don't know how to do YouTube. I'm still learning that stuff, but I get a lot of questions, especially when I'm live, like on TikTok or Twitch. It's like, how do you trade? How do you trade? Yada yada yada. So I figured I'd just make like a video. People can look at. Um, you know, if they ever do stumble across this video. So let me just get right into it. So how do I trade? I trade break and retests, and what you really have to understand with break and retest is levels, support and resistance, and volume. Also price action. You got to understand all those and really well. Um, so what I mean by you got to be able to well, first of all, with support and resistance, you got to know how to identify your levels. My levels are 30-minute to 1 hour high candle close support and resistance zones. Those will be my levels or pre-market highs, pre-market lows, or pre-market consolidation zones or pre-market strong support levels. Like I will temporarily mark those levels, but if you can see, I have a whole bunch of yellow lines marked. I don't I don't move these. These are permanently set. And if we like up the time frame to about 30 minutes, you're going to see price damn near respects every single line super well. Sometimes they call it consolidation between zones. Sometimes it bounces right off of them. That's why that's why the way I trade works so well for me and I'm so consistent doing it. If you don't believe me, you can come watch me trade live every day. And I don't end the live when I'm in a trade. I stug it out. Even if I lose a trade, but if you can't lose, then don't trade because you will lose. Anyway, back to how do I trade? So again, break and retest. I'm looking for a price to break a level, retest it, validate that it's not going to break back to below or above it, depending which way it's going. And typically, I hate using the word A plus setup because it's such like a TikTok term. But like a really nice setup for me would be price breaking a level, holding above a marked level that I have. What do I mean by holding above? Not just it wicking above. That would just be considered like a break of structure. I'm looking for a candle close above, especially on decreased volume. So I'm going to use this trade as an example. I already made a trade analysis video, but for the sake of this video, I'm just going to review this trade again. So look, uh, strong sell early in the morning, unable to break the zone. Why is it unable to break the zone? It's a pre-market consolidation zone. Typically, either way, those zones are going to be tough to break, especially if they're strong volume. Strong sell volume, unable to break at one time. Retests, test this level. I didn't mark this. It was marked. Bounces right off of it. That's why I trust my levels and I'm consistent the way I trade because I have studied this. I don't know. I've studied the way I trade for so long. And I don't change up my strategy. I learned one strategy and I stuck to it. And I don't want to say perfected it, but I learned it very, 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 very well. And it's not the strategy that I understand really well. I understand support and resistance really well. I understand price action really well. I understand volume really well. You know, I understand all that stuff. You got to be able to, like, think about it like this. In football, if you put someone on the field, they're not going to immediately know what to do right away. You got to teach them how to run routes. You got to teach them how to catch the ball. You got to teach them, like, the game plan. If you don't understand the game plan, how are you going to run the play? A lot of issues I see, like especially on social media, is so many people try to promote their strategy to people that don't even know what is going on. If you understand that, you'll have like a oh my goodness. If you don't understand it, just think about it. You'll get it. So yeah, you got to be able to understand what you're looking at before you can learn a strategy. Simple as that. If you don't understand it, think about it a little harder. It's really not that complicated. Anyway, so break and retest. What do I mean by break and retest? I'm waiting for price to break a level, retest, validating in this case that it's not going to break back down below this zone. And I'm also watching volume. I'm watching volume. I'm watching volume. I'm watching volume. We do see here, patterns are good to like you got to be able to identify patterns but don't depend on them. Never depend on a pattern. Just understand how to identify them. Double tops are good, double bottoms are good, head and shoulders are good sometimes. So back to the video. I identified the okay, so look, you got to understand what's going on with them. Strong sellers unable to break the zone one time. It's going to test this level again. If it's unable to break this zone again, that means tons of orders are being filled. This is a strong support, especially with that pre-market consolidation. Price is not going to test it a third time. It could, but volume is too strong for that sort of consolidation. Later on in the day, it would have bounced between those zones because there's lower volume, but in the morning, you're going to see moves. Uh, so you can see price comes up to this level again, retest because sellers are still strong, but they're thinning out and buyers are not stepping in, especially at this zone here. Uh, Initial break of structure, never enter off that. Always wait for retest. And I actually recorded this trade live. You can go to my Twitch and watch the replay of like my whole thought process going in, yada yada yada. So waited for a candle close above. As you can see, this same ticked up, ticked right back down, and held above. We have a neutral bearish. But as you can see, if you look at the volume, we have a weak sell volume. So now I know, sellers are really struggling and buyers are really stepping in. So as soon as this in this trade, it opened up, went down, rejected right back up. What I would be, what I'm looking for in this scenario is price to either break back above this candle close high and like this high. Typically the candle close high, or the candle open in this scenario because it's a bearish candle. So waiting for price to break above this level around this area here, and I don't want to see price break down below this retest low. I don't really have a brilliant explanation for all you nerds, but that's just what I know, and it works. Another thing is people try to make trading so complicated. Simple it out, like simplify it. Just simplify it. Yeah, like you don't see me using these big ass fancy fucking terms. Like I'm a very simple person. You gotta be able to dumb it down to understand it. And most of the people who are getting into trading think it's a get rich quick scheme and they're gonna buy a SVJ in 6 months. So they're already a little retarded. So yeah, took an entry as soon as price rejected here, didn't break this low, broke above this candle open. Set my stop loss to this low here, and like, all right, so what I see here is we have a rejection candle close here and we have a strong support here. So my stop loss is going to be this general area. Okay, here's a big thing that everyone kind of critiques me about, which I don't give a fuck what y'all have to say because I know it works for me. But just to clear the air, these templates aren't my exact take profits or my exact stop losses. I cannot stress that enough. If it were to tick below this zone, that does not mean I'm selling my position. I'm looking for a super, when I say super, I'm talking super bearish move down in this scenario, or a candle close below this zone, below here. If it ticks down, I'm not selling out of my position. Why would I sell on the first break of structure? Stuff like that happens all the time. People get stopped out and it goes right back into profit. That's why knowing how to actively manage your trades is super important. A lot of people get taught the wrong shit, and that's honestly why the failure rate is so high. Anyways, so I just wanted to clear that out. These templates aren't my exact take profits or my exact stop losses. Just putting that out there in case people do watch this video. So my full take profit would be this zone, and my first trim was this zone. Why is this magical red line my first trim? And I had this marked before I even entered the position. A way I like to feel confident about getting into trades is knowing where I'm going to take profit. That's kind of like that's something my mentor taught me, but like you won't get it the first couple times you think about it, but like when you're watching these trades and when you do have a few like good trades, especially in the beginning, you'll understand what it means. Like know where you want to take profit. It will help you with your entry so much better. It will boost your confidence with these trades. So this is my first trim. If I tell you that, I mean, Anyway, maybe in the future I'll kind of explain my thought process of how I get my levels, like my exact thought process, like really picking my mind. But yeah, this is my first trim. It was marked before I even entered the position. I called that out live. So I don't want to hear now, oh, you closed early. Like, no, I know what I'm doing. The purpose of trading with a lot of contracts is so you can secure profit. You know, not every single one of your contracts have to hit full take profit. You're just being greedy, and you're not being smart, and you're not using your brain. You're using your heart. You're not using your brain. And that's a big issue with a lot of traders. They make money fast, they get a rush, they get an adrenaline rush, and then the next day they lose all of it. Where'd all that energy go? Where'd all that? Oh my God, I'm a professional. Like, no. The purpose you trade with a lot of contracts. In this example, I traded with 30 contracts in this position. At this trim, I closed 20. Then when it ticked up again, I closed another 25, because I had a great feeling it wasn't going to continue its move up. Let's go further into that. Okay, look. So, boom. When you're in a trade, you want confluences. Also, your take profits need to have confluences. What is a confluence? It's a series of events or things that happen that kind of flow together that make things understandable. That's the best way I can put it. Like, shit, I'm trying to think of an analogy. I can't think of one right now, but if you know what confluence is, you'll understand what I just said. If you don't, Google it, teach yourself. Uh, so look, after this rejection here, especially at my marked first take profit, and I have a reasoning for that. Uh, the reasoning for that is another probably 20, 30 minutes. And I'm not just going to get into that right now. So look, I don't even need to like have my levels drawn to kind of understand where these like zones are, because I understand price action volume so well. That's why I know when I close that first 20 contracts, I was like, okay. And when I'm trailing, when I'm closing these positions, I'm also when I'm when I hit my first trim, I'm trailing my stop. If it hits my first trim and then I get stopped out on my trailed stop, I don't care. I won the trade. And you got to put it like this. My first trims are typically like 40 to 50%. Some people would be jumping around if they got 40 to 50%. That's my first trim. Um, anyway, apologize for the yap. But look, so first trim broke above around here ish. 20 contracts, boom. Entered at 58 cents, sold these at 78 cents, 76 cents. Boom. Harsh rejection, super weak bearish candle. Ticks up one more time, close another 5 contracts at 80-ish cents. Trailed my stop to this high, this high. This is my trailed stop right here. So 25 out of my 30 contracts are now closed. I have made around 40% profit. I made around like $800 on this trade. I can pull up I sent the fills in my group. I'm not gonna go looking for those right now because I'm a little tired. It's 6:30 in the morning. I just woke up with an urge to make a YouTube video. But yeah, so look, hits my first trim. How do I know this was a good trim? Rejects immediately. Decrease by volume. Know your trims. I knew this trade was not going to hit my full CP after this little shenanigans that just happened. And as you can see here, price breaks below this bottom tick low and forms a super strong bearish candle. Bearish engulfing to this previous candle. You got to be able to understand price action. You got to be able to understand volume. You got to be able to understand again, back to the football analogy, you got to be able to understand footwork. You got to dial in your footwork. You got to dial in your routes. You got to dial in catching the ball. Then you can run the play. You see what I'm saying? Learn support and resistance. Learn the routes. Learn price action. Learn your footwork. Learn volume. Did I just say that? I'm sorry. If I just said that, I apologize. Learn support and resistance. Learn volume. Learn price action. Footwork. Catching the ball. Running routes. Then you can run the play. What is the play? Your strategy. I'm not saying use my strategy. I'm saying know what you're looking at before you learn strategy. Simple as that. I can't stress that enough. And people just are so stupid. But yeah, simple as that. It's not simple. It takes a lot of time, a lot of screen time. When I first started learning, I was dedicating at least 12 to 16 hours a day on my computer. It was not healthy at all. I'm not gonna lie, it was not healthy at all. Not a great mental state at all as well. Kind of ruined a lot of stuff, but that was the, as cliche as it sounds, that was like part of the risk of learning this. It's such a, I don't even know, bro. Trading is, if you actually do it, you would understand. But a lot of people are posers and they, you know, anyway, back to the video. So yeah, break and retest. I wait for price to hold above my levels, especially on decreased volume. Those are like the two biggest confluences. You want to hold above a level, and what do I mean a hold out? You want to see a candle close above that level. You can see it's like, let me hide this shit. It's like, see how it's like using this shit as like a step? It's like stepping up. I can't really make it any more simpler than that. If you if you kind of like paid attention to what I was saying, you would definitely have an idea. You definitely learned something for sure. I know that for a fact. And if you didn't, then you're just a bad learner. And the biggest things in trading is you have to be able to learn from your mistakes. I'm about to drop some sauce. Like some obvious sauce, but like the shit that like it's gotta like be embedded in your head. You need to be able to learn from your mistakes. The thing is, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to screw up a lot. And you should not be getting discouraged from that. You should be appreciating that you're actually making an effort to fuck up. Think about that. You want to fuck up because that's how you're gonna learn. The more times you mess up, the more times you're gonna learn what not to do, and then you'll eventually get it. Simple as that. Again, I apologize for the sass. I apologize for the yap, but it goes over a lot of people's heads, and it's genuinely not that hard. It's just you have to be willing to fail one more time. Simple as that. That honestly sounds like gambling, but again, gambling doesn't have a stop loss. Learn strict risk management as well. Super important. Strict risk management. I have a very strict risk management. Simple as that. And yeah, that concludes the video. That was a good video, I'm not gonna lie. This brings me back to when I was first started making YouTube videos. I would talk for a long ass time. But now I have like a face cam, and I have like a lot of people who actually watch my videos on TikTok. I have a lot of people who join my lives. I have a lot of people I connect with. So it feels a little bit different now. It feels like again, it's stages. And I was literally making videos to nobody. Nobody would watch my videos. For like 3-4 months straight, it was just no views. Maybe 1 view, maybe 2 views, maybe like 10 views at once. But, and I was like making video like these like pretty good quality video, like not good quality, just like a lot of information, like a lot of brain dump videos. And if you pay attention to them, you definitely learn something 100%. And if somebody I know is watching, fuck you. I don't like you. I'm kidding. But yeah, that concludes the video. I go live every day. One of one traders on TikTok. One of one traders, not one of one funding. Not one of one funding. No association with them at all. Yeah, one of one traders on TikTok, everyday live, and on Twitch, Jezzy Rizik. That is JEZZIRIZK. If you did watch this video, I appreciate you for watching. I hope you learned something. If you have any questions, just leave a comment. Yeah, simple as that. Screen time, risk management, keep it simple. Have a wonderful rest of your night or day.